She said she was just going out with friends. Then her friend accidentally shared a video of her kissing someone else. I used to believe that trust, once built solidly enough, could hold through anything. I believed that if you chose the right person, really chose them, gave them your best, stayed loyal, showed up when it mattered, then you'd be safe. You wouldn't need to question every smile, every plan, every late-night outing. I thought I had that kind of relationship. Claire and I met 3 years ago at a friend's engagement party. She was magnetic. Her laugh made people stop mid-conversation just to hear more of it. I was never the loudest guy in the room, but somehow she found her way to me that night. Said I looked peaceful. That word stuck. She said it again after our first real date, when we watched the sunset from my apartment roof with cheap wine and frozen pizza. "You make me feel peaceful," she said, curling into my side. I remember thinking I'd never been told anything so beautiful. Fast forward 2.5 years. We lived together in a 2-bedroom downtown, had a joint savings account, a shared Google Calendar, and matching toothbrush holders. She started leaving her Pinterest wedding board open on the laptop. I wasn't panicking about it. I was saving for a ring. I even had lunch with her dad last fall to ask for his blessing. He cried, told me I was the only guy Claire ever brought home that he actually liked. She worked as a freelance designer, mostly from home, while I handled analytics for a logistics company. It wasn't glamorous, but it paid well, and we managed to travel a few times a year. Lisbon, Seattle, Tulum. She always picked the places. I didn't mind. Watching her face light up with each new itinerary felt like a privilege. We built a world together. Routines, inside jokes, playlists on shuffle in the kitchen while we made eggs. I genuinely thought we were happy. And then came the Friday night. She said it casually over breakfast. "Oh, by the way, the girls and I are doing a little wine night/club night tomorrow. Just the usual crew. You okay if I go?" Of course I was okay. It wasn't the first time. I even encouraged it. "Yeah, go have fun. You deserve it." She kissed me on the cheek and smiled. "You're the best." The next evening, she got ready while blasting music and trying on outfits. I sat on the couch watching a game on mute, half listening to her talk to her best friend Maya over speakerphone. "Do I wear the red one or the black one?" she asked. Maya replied, "Red. It screams confidence and subtle thirst." They both laughed. I didn't think much of it. Claire always had that kind of flirty, electric energy. Charming, bold, slightly theatrical. It didn't mean anything, or so I told myself. She left around 8:30. I kissed her goodbye at the door, told her to text me if she needed a ride. "Don't worry," she said. "Just wine, dancing, and home by 2. I stayed in, ordered Thai, and rewatched some old episodes of a show we used to binge. She texted me around 10:15. "Just got here. Line is long, but Maya brought mini bottles in her purse, lol." I replied, "You're a menace. Have fun. Love you." She didn't respond, but again, normal. She usually got caught up in the night, forgot her phone. I brushed my teeth, watched a YouTube video in bed, and dozed off by midnight. The next morning, I woke up around 9. Her side of the bed was still empty. Not weird, exactly. She often crashed at Maya's place after nights out, especially if they'd been drinking heavily. I checked my phone. No texts, no missed calls, just silence. I made coffee, scrolled social media, and then instinctively tapped on Instagram. That's when everything changed. Maya had posted a story an hour ago. Just one clip, about 6 seconds long. The kind of thing you'd assume was harmless. Just girls dancing in a club, laughing, lights flashing. Except in the middle of the video, for about 2 seconds, I saw Claire. She wasn't just dancing. She wasn't with Maya. She was pressed up against a guy I didn't recognize. Tall, lean, hands on her waist. And then, unmistakably, they kissed. It wasn't a peck. It wasn't confusion. It was a full-on, slow, familiar kiss. The kind you give someone you've kissed before. I froze. I watched it again. Paused. Rewatched. My heart thundered in my chest. My hands started to shake. I put my coffee down before I dropped it. I turned off the sound, focused only on the visuals, like maybe it would make more sense that way. It didn't. It was Claire, no doubt about it. Her dress, her earrings, her hair, the same red dress she'd modeled for me hours earlier. Her lips, her hands in his hair, everything. And then the worst part, I watched the story expire in real time. Maya deleted it. Too late. I'd already screen recorded it. Saved it. It was real. I didn't know what to do. Should I call her? Confront her? Wait for her to come home and pretend I hadn't seen it? Should I pretend I was still asleep? Instead, I sat on the edge of the bed in silence, the phone heavy in my hand, the air thick around me like molasses. I kept checking the door. Minutes passed like hours. She came in at 10:12 a.m., smelling like perfume and stale club smoke. And I said nothing. She looked exhausted. Smudged mascara under her eyes, hair tied up in a messy knot, heels in one hand. "God, I need a shower," she mumbled, not even glancing in my direction as she kicked the door shut behind her. I watched her cross the room like a stranger. Every step echoed louder than it should have. She finally noticed me sitting on the edge of the bed. "Hey, you're up early," she said, attempting a half smile. I didn't answer. She raised an eyebrow. "You okay?" I nodded once. Still said nothing. She hesitated, reading my silence like a puzzle she couldn't quite solve. "What?" she asked, voice slightly strained. "Did something happen?" I forced a breath through my nose, stood up slowly. Nothing happened." Her head tilted. "You sure?" I shrugged. "I just couldn't sleep." She stared at me for a beat longer, then stepped past me toward the bathroom. "Okay. Well, I smell like tequila and shame, so I'm going to scrub this night off me." She shut the door behind her. I sat back down and listened to the water run, listened to her hum to herself under the sound of the shower like nothing was broken, like nothing had been ripped apart, like she hadn't betrayed me in the most brutal way and didn't even know I knew. I thought I'd feel rage. I didn't. Just a cold, hollow ache. Numbness. The kind that burrows into your spine and stays there. She emerged about 20 minutes later in a bathrobe, drying her hair with a towel. "I think I'm just going to sleep all day," she said, flopping on the bed like a cat. I stood. "I'm going to head out for a bit. Clear my head." She blinked up at me. "You want breakfast?" Number R. Just need air." She didn't press. Just nodded and closed her eyes. I left. I walked for 2 hours. I don't even remember where I went. Through side streets, alleys, past coffee shops and barking dogs. I ended up in a small park on the other side of the city, sitting on a bench, trying to breathe through the sick, quiet panic in my chest. I kept playing the video, over and over, until it became unbearable. Then I'd close my phone. And then I'd open it again. I was torturing myself. I checked Maya's profile. Private. Still up. No story. No mention of last night. I typed a message. "Hey Maya, I saw the story before you deleted it." I stared at it. Then erased it. Then typed it again. Then erased it again. I didn't know if she'd posted it on purpose. Maybe it was a mistake. Or maybe it wasn't. Maybe she knew what Claire did and was trying to say something. Eventually I sent, "I need to ask you something important. Please be honest." No response. I knew I couldn't avoid this forever. But I also knew if I confronted Claire now, without thinking it through, she'd twist it. She'd cry. She'd deny. She'd say I was overreacting, that it was a misunderstanding. Maybe even gaslight me into believing I didn't see what I saw. I'd seen what I saw, so I waited. That afternoon, Claire acted like everything was fine. She ordered Thai food, asked if I wanted to watch a movie, curled up on the couch like it was just another Saturday. At one point, she even kissed my cheek. I nearly flinched. I couldn't sleep that night. I lay in bed next to her, eyes open, staring at the ceiling while she breathed softly beside me. I counted the seconds between her breaths. 5, 6, 7 seconds apart, like waves lapping on a distant shore. She turned in her sleep, mumbled something, clung to my arm. I wanted to scream. Instead, I slipped out of bed around 3 a.m., went to the kitchen, opened my laptop. I started digging. Her email was still logged in. I clicked through old messages. Nothing obvious. Then I opened her Google Drive. Photos, shared folders, a few video files. I didn't even know what I was looking for until I found it. A folder titled Mood Board, London Trip. We never went to London. Inside were screenshots of hotel reservations, 2 tickets to a concert for a band I knew she didn't even like, and selfies. Her and the guy from the video. Same guy, same face, same jawline. His arm around her, her lips pressed to his cheek. The timestamp? 6 weeks ago. 6 weeks ago, she'd told me she was at her mom's house helping with yard work for the weekend. My stomach turned. The rabbit hole went deeper. Spotify playlists they'd made, shared notes on ICLOUD, a stupid doc titled Stupid Bucket List, where she wrote things like kiss on the London Eye and do a duet at karaoke. It wasn't just cheating. It was a second life. I closed the laptop. My hands were shaking. I sat there for a long time. I wasn't even crying, just drowning. And then my phone buzzed. Maya. One message. I'm sorry. I stared at that message for a long time. Just 2 words. But they hit harder than any paragraph could have. I typed, deleted, retyped, then finally sent, "Did you post that video on purpose?" The dots popped up immediately. Yes? Another pause. Then, I couldn't keep pretending I didn't know. I swallowed hard. My pulse raced. How long has it been going on? I don't know exactly. A few months? Maybe more. She never told me straight, but I saw them together once before. Thought it was a mistake. Then it wasn't. I leaned forward, elbows on the table, phone trembling slightly in my hand. Why now? Because I hate what she's doing to you. And I hate that I stayed quiet. You didn't deserve that. I didn't respond. She sent one more message. If you want to talk, I'm here. But I get it if you don't. I locked my phone. The sunrise was starting to bleed orange through the kitchen window. Claire was still asleep, peaceful, software, like the person I thought she was. I went into the bathroom, splashed cold water on my face, stared at myself in the mirror. My eyes were bloodshot, jaw clenched. I looked like a man trying not to shatter. When I came back to the bedroom, Claire had woken up. She was sitting cross-legged on the bed, scrolling her phone. She smiled. Morning. I nodded and sat down in the chair across from her. Can we talk? Her smile faded a little, but she kept it polite. Sure. Everything okay? I just need to ask you something. I tried to keep my voice steady. Did anything happen last night that I should know about? Her eyebrows drew together slightly. What do you mean? Were you really just out with Maya and the girls? Because I saw something. Silence. Her body stiffened, just slightly. What did you see? A video, I said quietly. Of you, in that red dress, kissing some guy. Her jaw tensed. What video? Maya posted it, briefly. It was only up for a minute before she deleted it, but I saw it. For a second, she didn't say anything. Then she scoffed. Too quickly. Are you serious right now? You're believing some blurry video over me? It wasn't blurry, I said flatly. It was you. Clear as day. She got off the bed. Pacing now. Defensive. You don't know the context, she snapped. You're making assumptions. I had a lot to drink. Maybe it was just a dumb moment. So it happened? I cut in. That stopped her. She looked away. It didn't mean anything. I exhaled sharply. It meant something to me. Claire crossed her arms, her voice rising. You don't get to suddenly interrogate me like I'm some criminal. We've been good for 3 years. Doesn't that count for something? I laughed, short and bitter. Apparently not to you. She didn't deny it. Just stood there, arms folded, like she was waiting for me to back down. But I wasn't finished. I know about London, I said, locking eyes with her. The color drained from her face. Her lips parted slightly like I'd just slapped her. What? I saw the folder, I continued, voice low. The concert tickets. The selfies. The bucket list. You were there with him 6 weeks ago. You told me you were at your mom's. Were you spying on me? She snapped. No, I said, standing. You just left the window open. I wasn't looking for anything. But once I saw that video, I needed to know the truth. And now I do. Her face twisted. And for a moment, I saw something raw behind her eyes. Maybe guilt. Maybe just the loss of control. You weren't supposed to see that, she whispered. I stared at her, stunned. That's what you're upset about? That I saw it? Not that you did it? She turned her back to me. Who is he? I asked. Silence. Is he the only one? Still nothing. Answer me, she turned slowly, her eyes cold. What difference does it make? And just like that, something in me broke. It wasn't the betrayal. Not entirely. It was the way she looked at me. Like I was an inconvenience. Like I was the one disrupting her story. Get out, I said. Her eyes widened. What? I said get out. Of the apartment. Of my life. I don't care where you go, but you're not staying here. You're seriously kicking me out? Over one mistake? I laughed again, louder this time. One mistake? You've been living a double life. I don't even know who you are anymore. Her voice trembled. Where am I supposed to go? I don't care. Call the guy you kissed. Call the one you went to London with. Call your mother. Just not me. She stood there, stunned. And then she did something I'll never forget. She started crying. Not soft, regretful tears, but loud, theatrical sobs. Like she was trying to perform pain. Like she was trying to convince me, or maybe herself, that she was the victim here. I gave you everything, she shouted. I loved you. No, I said quietly. You loved how much I loved you. That's not the same thing. She didn't leave right away. She stood in the middle of our bedroom with her arms hanging limp, eyes wide and wet, like she couldn't believe this was actually happening. Like I was the one tearing things apart. I don't have anywhere to go, she said again, her voice smaller this time. I didn't answer. I walked past her to the hallway closet, grabbed the spare suitcase we used for weekend trips, and set it on the bed. She just stared at it. You're serious? She whispered. I didn't look at her when I spoke. Pack what you need. Take some space. I'll figure out the lease later. For a few minutes, she didn't move. Then slowly, like she was sleepwalking, she began gathering her things. I watched her open drawers, avoiding my eyes. She didn't take much. Some clothes, her laptop, makeup bag, phone charger. When she zipped the suitcase, the sound felt louder than it should have. Final. Heavy. She looked at me once more before leaving. You think you're so perfect, don't you? That you never did anything wrong. I said nothing. Good luck finding someone who loves you like I did, she snapped, the venom suddenly back in her voice. And then she was gone. The door clicked shut behind her like punctuation. I didn't cry. I sat down in the silence, staring at the empty space she left behind. Her perfume still lingered in the air, soft and artificial, like the version of her I thought I knew. That night, Maya messaged again. I heard what happened. Are you okay? I didn't know how to answer that. Instead, I wrote, thank you for telling me the truth. I wish you didn't have to. Her reply came quick. I should have told you sooner. I was scared. She made us all feel like it wasn't our business. It was always my business, I said. We didn't talk much more that night, but something in me softened, knowing someone else had seen it too, had known and finally done something, even if it was late. Over the next week, I moved through my life like a ghost. Work, gym, sleep, repeat. The apartment felt foreign, too quiet, like even the walls didn't recognize me anymore. Claire texted once. Just one long message, filled with everything from apology to anger to confusion. You overreacted. I was lost. I needed something. It didn't mean I didn't love you. I didn't answer. She tried again a few days later. Can we just talk? One last time. In person, I stared at the screen, thumb hovering over the keyboard. I thought about the man in the video, the London folder, the lies, the performance, the way she cried like she was the one who'd been hurt. I powered off my phone. That same night, I found myself scrolling through our old photos, trips, birthdays, random Tuesday nights. It wasn't just the loss of her. It was the loss of us. The version of my life I thought I was living. It felt like mourning someone who hadn't died, someone who just took off a mask and walked away. It wasn't until I spoke to my brother that something finally shifted. He came over a few nights later, brought pizza and cheap beer, sat across from me like I was breakable. You know, he said after a long silence, I always thought she smiled too hard when she lied. I blinked. What? He shrugged. Little things? I never said anything because you looked happy, and I didn't want to ruin that. But there was something off. Not all the time, but enough. I let that sit. Maybe I didn't want to see it, I said eventually. Yeah, he said. But now you do. And you're still standing. That counts for something. After he left, I stood in the doorway for a while, looking out at the empty street. It was quiet. Just the hum of distant cars and the occasional dog bark down the block. For the first time in weeks, I felt something like clarity. I didn't need closure from Claire. I didn't need her explanations, her justifications, her sob stories. I already had everything I needed. The truth. The hardest part wasn't that she cheated. It was realizing how easy it was for her to look me in the eyes, say, I love you, and still do it. Repeatedly. Calculated. Without remorse. It wasn't a mistake. It was a choice. And now I had to choose too. I started clearing out the apartment the next day. Not frantically. Calmly. Methodically. I boxed her things. Every reminder. Every old photo. I found one of the postcards we'd bought in Tulum, where she'd written, to the man I'll marry someday. I threw it in the trash. I booked a trip. 2 weeks. Alone. No ring. No weight on my chest. No pretending everything was fine. Just me. Healing. And freedom. The trip was exactly what I needed. I didn't go to find myself. I wasn't chasing some eat, pray, love kind of rebirth. I just wanted distance. Real, physical distance from the life I used to have. From the apartment where I'd built dreams with someone who'd been building something else behind my back. I chose a quiet place by the coast. Nothing flashy. A small Airbnb near the cliffs with a hammock and no Wi-Fi. I woke up with the sun, made coffee on a stovetop burner, walked barefoot on cold sand, and listened to the ocean say everything I couldn't. The silence wasn't painful anymore. It was clean, undisturbed. One morning, about 4 days in, I got a message from an unknown number. It's me. Please don't block me. I'm not trying to cause trouble. I just want to say something. I knew it was Claire. I almost deleted it. But something made me pause. Another message came through seconds later. I'm not asking for anything. I know I don't have the right. I need to tell you the truth, and I need you to know I'm not lying anymore. I let it sit in my inbox for hours. Watched the tide come in. Let my feet get buried in wet sand. Finally, I opened it and typed just one word. Talk. A minute later, she sent a wall of text. I met him last year at a conference. At first it was just texts, then coffee. Then I kept seeing him. I don't know why. You were always good to me. Maybe too good. Maybe I thought I didn't deserve it. I lied to myself that it was harmless, that it was temporary. I always told myself I was going to end it and come back to you. But I didn't. I kept choosing the lie. He didn't love me. He was just a distraction. And when he got bored, he moved on. I was left with nothing. Not him. Not you. Just shame. I don't want you back. I know I lost that chance. I just want you to know I finally see what I did. And I hate myself for it. I read it twice. Maybe it was real. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe she meant every word. Maybe she was just trying to clean her conscience. It didn't matter. I didn't feel anything reading it. No anger. No tears. Not even pity. I just replied, "Thank you for the honesty, but I've already let go." She didn't respond after that. That was the last time we ever spoke. When I returned home, I felt different. Lighter. The city hadn't changed, but I had. I moved into a new apartment across town. Smaller, cheaper, but mine. I didn't take much with me. Just the essentials. A new mattress. A desk. A few mugs. Clean slate. Maya reached out a few weeks later. She asked if I wanted to meet for coffee. She said she still felt guilty, like she hadn't done enough soon enough. We met at a quiet cafe on a rainy Thursday. She looked nervous when she saw me, like she expected me to blame her. "I should have told you when I found out," she said immediately. I was scared. Claire had a way of making people feel like crossing her meant war. "I don't blame you," I said. She blinked. "You don't?" "No," I shrugged. "You did what most people wouldn't. You eventually told the truth. That means something." We talked for over an hour. Not just about Claire, but about life. About disappointment. About how strange it feels to realize someone you loved was playing a role the whole time. Before we left, she looked at me and said, "For what it's worth, you deserved better." "You always did." I believed her. Over the next few months, I rebuilt. Slowly. I took up running. I got a promotion. I reconnected with friends I hadn't seen in years. I started going to therapy. Not because I was falling apart, but because I wanted to understand why I hadn't seen it sooner. Why I'd been willing to explain away every red flag as stress, or mood swings, or just bad days. Turns out, when you want to believe someone is good, your brain becomes very good at lying to you. But not anymore. One afternoon, almost 6 months after everything, I passed Claire on the street. I didn't expect it. She was coming out of a cafe, talking to someone, laughing. For a moment, I froze, caught in a strange wave of memories. She didn't see me, or maybe she did but pretended not to. Either way, I just kept walking. I didn't feel hate, or bitterness, or longing, just peace. Like that moment closed a chapter I didn't even know was still open. That night, I stood on my balcony and watched the lights of the city flicker like stars that hadn't quite made it. I thought about how sometimes the people we love the most are the ones who break us the hardest. But they don't get to keep us broken. Not forever. A year later, I was sitting in the same cafe where Maya and I had once talked, sipping a black coffee, watching the rain roll down the window like slow-moving threads. Life had become calm, stable, even happy, in the quietest, least dramatic way. People talk about healing like it's some grand moment. Like one day you wake up and it's all behind you. But that's not how it happened for me. It came in pieces, in skipped heartbeats that didn't ache anymore, in old songs that no longer brought memories to the surface, in being able to talk about it, then eventually not needing to talk about it at all. I didn't hate Claire. I didn't miss her either. She had become neutral, a lesson carved into my bones. Painful, but no longer bleeding. I'd heard she moved to a different city. Started working with some travel startup. A mutual friend told me she was dating again, someone calmer, whatever that meant. I didn't ask questions. Some people carry their shame with them for years. Others don't carry it at all. I'll never know which kind she was, but I stopped needing the answer. One evening, I got a message request on Instagram. It was from her. Just one line. "I saw your new photography work. You're really doing great. I'm happy for you." I stared at it for a long time. I had started posting my hobby photos online a few months earlier. It became a new outlet. Landscapes, street shots, candid portraits of strangers. Things that felt alive but didn't ask anything back. I didn't reply. Not because I was angry, but because nothing needed to be said. Her voice no longer had a place in my story. I deleted the message, closed the app, and went back to editing a photo of an old man laughing on a park bench. The kind of moment that felt honest, even if I didn't know his name. That same night, I went for a walk. There was a jazz band playing in a little corner bar I'd passed a dozen times but never gone into. This time I did. It was packed, warm, alive. A woman next to me asked if the seat was taken. She had messy curls, a chipped blue nail on her index finger, and an easy, real smile. She laughed at something the saxophonist did like she wasn't afraid to be loud. We talked. About music. About travel. About the weirdness of being alive and disappointed and hopeful all at once. She asked me what I did. I said I worked in analytics but liked photography more. She told me she made pottery but couldn't sell a damn piece. When we left the bar, I didn't feel nervous. I just felt open. Like maybe this was how it begins again. Not with grand declarations, not with fire and lightning, but with something simple and kind. Something you build slowly, like trust, brick by brick. A few months later, I told her about Claire. Not in some tragic cinematic monologue, just the truth. She listened, didn't flinch, just nodded and said, "I'm glad you got out." I smiled. Yeah, me too. Because that's what it was, an escape. From a love that looked like safety but had been quietly eroding underneath. From a version of myself that confused loyalty with self-sacrifice. And now I know the difference. Now, I ask questions when something feels off. Now, I trust my instincts instead of drowning them in hope. Now, I know that someone kissing another person behind your back doesn't just betray your heart. It betrays your time, your future, your belief in what the two of you are. But betrayal doesn't get the last word. You do. When you choose to walk away, when you choose yourself, when you stop asking why they did it, and start living like they never will again.